All right, guys. So I am going to. I had, I'm gonna go ahead and let the play run while I talk here. I'm going to talk about something that was going on. Is everybody says, oh, you're always defending Satterfield. It's like, oh, you don't think he does any wrong. And here's the thing, okay? So here's a play here. I can critique this and tell you, hey, this plays on Spencer right here, okay? This particular, obviously, the pass play right here, we're gonna see Spencer didn't do a good job on this, but I'm not here to critique that, okay? I could critique it and da da da, but you know, this is the half that Spencer didn't play well, and that's fine. But here's the real issue for me here, and I'm gonna go to the next video because then the next video, excuse me, that's not it. The next video is this is the very next play. Now, in between this, they'd had a timeout. Okay, so before this play where Spencer fumbles, they had confusion. There was a timeout called. They come back, and now it's second down second down and 10. Not playing. Okay, it's second down and 10, and all of this started after a punt block. Okay, and so this is a huge sequence for us. Okay, this is a chance to take the momentum from the punt block and go and score. And the very first play before this pass play was a big run play by Marshawn, where we got another about 10 to 12 yards or so, and that's when we got it down here to the 10, because I think we had the ball about the 20, right in the 20-yard-ish area, 25-ish area, okay, before this. And then so Marshawn got a good burst, a good break, and got a run down here, got us down a little further. And that takes me right back into it, okay? Um, we just had a big kick, and or we just had a big play, and we've got momentum. Okay, Spencer's obviously looking confused. Spencer didn't throw a good play right here, a good pass right there, and then he's looking confused on the next play and all this, or in between the play, But my question is, you just had one big run play. And of course, you do need to mix up your offense, but this is a situation that if we even get 3 out of this, that's huge. So, a little bit of caution on first down. Maybe you would have said, hey, let's line up and hit another run. Now I see, obviously they got the box stacked a lot right there, of course. So maybe run, maybe they're looking run. Who knows? I don't know. But they're stacked in the box too, because all of our players are in the box. This is a little weird too for me. I would say that, in the situation, you're running a pass play right there, and all your receivers are close to the line. So it does. Now, when I said Spencer missed the hot route right here, he did. But of course, also it doesn't help that you've condensed your offense in so tight, and now you've brought all the defenders in closer to your quarterback. Okay, so that's the thing. But going back, to the last play, Spencer misses that. Why are we passing? We just had a successful run. Uh, and we're gonna talk about this more later. I have another segment of this that's coming up, um, talking about run situations and whatnot. But Marcus Satterfield has said, hey, if I could, I'd line up in 12, 13 personnel and run the ball. Well, this is a situation. Why aren't you doing that? You're in an empty set. Now at this play, you had, a spread, here. Marshawn has been the one leading the charge lately. Why not get that punt block and just see about pounding it in one more time? Give yourself a little cushion if you can, just a little bit. Give yourself a 2-score lead at minimum by, playing it safe right here, getting a field goal out of this, and now you have a 2-score lead. So the next time your offense comes out, maybe they can be a little looser. I mean, yeah, that's very important, guys. And so that for me is a critique I could give, or something I could say about play calling in that situation, because I would have just went ahead and lined this guy up. I would have brought in my power sets here, and it's something I'm going to go into a little bit more as we get down and talking about some short yardage situations that I wasn't happy about. Um, but you know, get 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 the tight ends in here. Honestly, I want to see an I formation or two back sets. I want to get Bell back into the backfield there in this kind of situation and more frequently. Let's utilize Bell as a fullback a little bit more, and set up some good power runs right here. See if we can just hammer this in after we just had a big punt block. If you get down there and it's third down, and you feel good about it, and you want to take a shot, then yeah. But we end up two pass plays to start the sequence immediately. After we just ran it down here, after we just got a punt block, it just for me didn't make a lot of sense. It just for me didn't make a lot of sense. So that's my take on that. But what's the next video? That'll tell me what the let me what's the next video we do? Okay, so all right. So that kind of as we're moving right into, I guess I set up my videos just perfect, okay? Because we were just talking about, yeah, all right. So moving into the next one. All right. Now we do have our power set in here, sort of. I wouldn't call this the full power set though, because we're 12 personnel. Wait, ooh. Okay, yeah, we put in the, okay, wow. All right, guys. So neither Stogner nor Jaheim Bell are in on this play. So we brought in two blocking backs. So we did kind of go to a power set here. Okay. But I don't know that I like the idea of the shotgun here. And it's going to come back, and I'm going to show that again later. Or here very shortly. And then Marshawn, we get the touchdown here. So I'm critical of a touchdown score right here, right? I mean, we had the ball on the 2, and it's like, hey, we're gonna line it up in shotgun and let Marshawn run it in. It worked out, but I mean, if you're trying to tell me that you want to be in 12, 13 personnel sets, and we got playmakers like Jaheim and Stogner sitting the bench in this, it doesn't make sense to me. And, it's going to lead into my sorry, my conversation about some water. Jaheim Bell is one of the last things we'll talk about today. But that gives you, it'll give you some different play calls down here too. Because I mean, if you had those guys in and you wanted to audible to a pass or something, but I don't know why we're not under center here. You want to have that power run game. Our power run game has been great. Anytime we've gotten under center and put 3 tight ends in and Jaheim in the backfield, it's worked. So I don't know why we didn't. I mean, heck, we've had Jaheim just straight run it from the wishbone right here several times. There's so many other things we could have done right there. It's just, the play works out. I don't want to be overcritical of this play because obviously it's a touchdown play. But I just felt like, why not line it up in these power sets, with Jaheim in the backfield, and Marshawn in the backfield. They got triple options and all kinds of stuff they could run out of that, right here down at the goal line. I mean, not that they're a triple option team, but you can at times, obviously, because, we have Jaheim could have been running like a dive right here, or option to pull off of that if it's not open or whatnot, and then speed option out to Marshawn, to the corner because you brought in all the defenses all right here. So imagine if you had, Jaheim lined up on the left right here, and you fake a dive to him, and get and see if this guy out here is biting on the dive, and then you got a speed option out here to the right with Spencer and Marshawn, so that's if you're in a shotgun like this. I mean, I would have just said, hey, let's get it in like an I formation kind of deal. Put Jaheim in at fullback, Marshawn in half, and then just power it in. But hey, the play worked out. But the next one, is where we keep getting into it. Okay, here we go. So on 2nd and 1, all right, this play works out. We're in a shotgun. This makes sense. I'm going to tell you why this is going to work out here and not in the next short down situation. Okay, shotgun, 2nd and 1 sets up really good for play action. So Kentucky couldn't just blitz for the run right here. You go, oh, it's a short yardage situation. They run it to get the first. But 2nd and 1 is that situation where you take your shots. You look for a play action pass because you're already so close to getting a first down. So even if you're not doing that, the defense has to respect the potential for a play action on 2nd and 1. So that's okay here. But when we get to the next sequence, um, wait, oh, 2nd and 9. Okay, this is the one. Okay, I was looking for it earlier. It wasn't part of the sequence earlier. Okay, 2nd and 9. Okay, um, Amari and Brown had gotten us about 7-yard gain right there or so, and we're about 1 yard away, and we go into tempo here. All right, and this is in the third quarter, and then we go into tempo, and we do this same, yeah, boom. Now they've gotten penetration this time, so now by this time they're hip to this game of this, lining up trying to put the bunches in, and we keep doing the little bunch on the edge there, and then hand it off to Marshawn down the middle. And this isn't even our power bunch. We only have one tight end in this formation. Okay, so it's not like we're in a power set here for a power run either. We only have one tight end in. Okay, so my question in this situation is, I understand we're trying to catch them off guard, but now it's 3rd and 1, and the run is so much more likely considering, hey, we've done it so many times now, from shotgun, and they're hip that we're going to do that. So, and they're hip that we've been going down the middle, and we're going to continue going down the middle, guys. We're doing great up the middle. We just can't, we got to spread it out some. There's got to be some different things to take some pressure off the middle runs. But regardless of that, of course, it makes sense. We're going to probably do a run down the middle right here. My question is, why go tempo into a shotgun set? You got to hand the ball off to the guy. The ball has a snap back, what, 1, 2, about 4 yards back from the line of scrimmage before a player has the hands on it. And then they have to hand it off. That's a lot of stuff going on in this short yardage situation where Kentucky's just looking to stuff the run. They know at 3rd and 1, we're not going to go crazy here in this scoring situation because a field goal is huge for us here. Puts us up by 2 scores. So we're probably going to not necessarily pass it here. It makes sense that they're going to stack the box and sell out for the run. And then we come in for me, a weak formation to get that kind of a run. And then the very next play, or not the next play we're going to look at, the very next play. This is one later. Okay, this was after Juju had failed to get the first down, and I let me highlight that. I felt like Juju failed to get the first down before this play. Okay, he could have cut back in potentially and got at least another yard, but I felt like he could have got the first down. There's an argument. I've had an argument with somebody saying no, but I felt like the play before this, Juju tried to cut a little spin move, and they end up in this situation. Once again, though, look at where we're at. We're in a short down situation, and we're going to power run it, but I just don't like the set for the power run here. Why not go ahead and bring in Jaheim? Why not go ahead? I mean, these guys they're selling out for the run now. They're selling out for the run. Now, this was back in the second quarter, of course. This wasn't these plays weren't in sequence or anything, but the last play was in the third quarter. At this point, we're in the second quarter, and these guys they're selling out hard for the run because that's what Charlotte did for us. It was really make people start respecting our run game, and then we of course did it at SC State as well, and we've been doing it to these guys at this point in the game. We've had solid runs, and so they're selling out for the run now, and that. And if you really hardcore want to go for a run, you need to, I feel like, bring in Jaheim, get him blocking in the backfield back there, and line up in a more power set and just run it, man. Quit this fancy shotgun run crap, that is starting so far back in this situation. In this situation, and that's what I've said, situational play calling is sometimes where my issues come up with Marcus Satterfield. And that's it. But let me also say this. I'm not an offensive coordinator. I'm just a fan, right? I've got an athletic background. I've played very little football, formally, and then but I do have an athletic background. I played all the three major sports, and I understand them and whatnot. But I'm not going to understand them to Marcus Satterfield's level. But the things I could point out were, hey, the situational play calls. Going back to the game where you ran Wildcat. What was this in UG? Was that UGA? Yeah, it was UGA. It was just random Wildcat. And I got the point of that. It was just like, but why at that point? Didn't make sense, right? And a lot of people were upset about that. That's an obvious one. This is a less obvious situational play call right here that I'm talking about, and then most people go, oh, well, he should just pass it. It's 4th and 2. I won't disagree with that either. But if you're going to run it, I don't agree with the formation for running it, knowing that these guys are now trying to, they're really stacking the box and whatnot. So, that would be my critique there. And what's our next video? And then that'll start telling me. All right. Oh. Wait. Is that the same play? I might have it twice. Yeah, I think I might have put this in twice because I think I had it with Amari and Brown, like where they had come up to the line, hurried up to the line. Yeah, third. Yeah, I think that's the same play. I think I have 2 videos. Yep, same play. Okay, so we'll go ahead and go past that. Sorry. And what are we at now? What are we at now? Okay. All right. Not that I mean, obviously the fumble shouldn't have been bobbled here. I don't know, or the ball shouldn't have been bobbled and fumbled here, and so it's hard to critique this. But after this play, you'll see that, I'm just going to rewind and talk about this for just a second. After this play, at the end of this play, there's a timeout, and Beamer's upset. People were questioning, is Beamer upset with Satterfield? My thing on that was, if he was, the only thing I could say is, did we need to do this, jet sweep thing here? Once again, it goes just back to what I'm saying. Why not just line it up with Jaheim in the backfield? Where's that wishbone in this situation? We've been overpowering them the whole game. Why not just put us in a wishbone here and hand it off and let Jaheim? You guys you're telling me that Jaheim's blocking is gotten so much better. He needs to show that from the backfield as well, guys, and put him in that fullback position, line him up in some power set, and let Jaheim go out there and get a good lead block from Marshawn. You know what I mean? And then that's going to continue us into my conversation. But let's let this play. This is, like I said, there's a fumble. And yeah, you see, this is the thing in question. Oh, is Beamer mad at Satterfield there? Yeah, I mean, his tone, just his body language didn't help there. His body language definitely didn't help. Reading body language is something you kind of learn as a fighter, but I can't get in his head and know exactly what he was frustrated about. He looked a little frustrated, and if I had to bet, I would just say, like I said, maybe, did we really need like a jet sweep? Did we need this fancy Spencer runs to the line real quick? Why not just line them up in that formation? You get what I'm saying? It's just a little too fancy and cutesy here at the end of the game. And that would be my only critique of that, and I think maybe that's what the upset was about. We're going to move into our final. Okay. I just took a recording of this. Okay. Move into our final thing here is Jaheim Bell snaps by position, Okay. So that's going to bring us to our final conversation. All right. I'm going to actually let the volume, I'm going to turn up the volume here and let this play with volume.
South Carolina gave to Jaheim Bell is, why? Brock Bowers is so good. He does everything good. He can block inline. He can block outline. He can get jet sweeps. He can run every single route in the tree. He can be involved in protection. And that was really the challenge to Bell is you need to be proficient at all of these things so we can use you to your full potential.
Here's a tailback go.
Okay. And so
here
we're
he
talking
is on
about
the toss, and they got that one
throw him in at the
snuffed
halfback.
out. Made the first couple miss, but no gain. I think the word is reliability, right?
Yes.
We've got to be able to count on you to do the dirty work before we rely on you as a ball carrier.
And now,
was the technique and fundamentals that go along with that, Tom. It's understanding what step to take, footwork, hat placement, hand placement, and then just the willingness to get in there and do something.
So I'm gonna put this on the, so I'm gonna, since I have these other videos, we'll use those, because they kind of worked for these situations, I just talk about, all right, so yeah, I'll use this formation right here, like they're lined up here, so I would like to see Jaheim, and I talked about this. I did a whole video on this, and I used chess pieces and whatnot, and I recommend looking at that, because I can do more with the chess pieces than I can with my computer and a little pointer thing right now, and really show you where But even in the shotgun set, we'd take one of these guys out. We'd put Jaheim in the backfield. Okay. Next, the other side of Spencer right here. Obviously, Spencer's right here. You put Jaheim. You got a two-back set here. I would love to see a two-back set for Jaheim. In some plays, he's going to block, and in some plays, you leak Jaheim out of the backfield, and he does, gets out here into the flats, gets out here into the center more, so we can get more, like where he comes. Like, let's say Jaheim was lined up on the right side of Spencer right here. And if you follow my mouse, he comes out of the backfield and just kind of sits down in a formation sometimes, maybe when it's like a zone or whatever. He gets a little pass right there and then tries to make us a play, He could come out of that formation. Let's say we were, the end zone wasn't right here. Even with the end zone right here, he could come out of that and run a seam, a deep seam, it could be a deep seam. Obviously, it's not going to be too deep with the end zone right here, but a seam straight down coming out of the backfield. He can chip block, he can do delayed blocks coming out of the backfield where he picks up a blocker, he picks up a rusher, a pass rusher coming in, blocks them, and then as they're, kind of squeezing past him, he goes out into a route afterwards, and then there's a lot of big plays that open up on those kind of plays, right? So there's no reason we're not seeing Jaheim in the backfield more. We've used them there, and I would say bring them back, open up some triple option ideas there for that. But I would also like to see them utilize them. They had done it early in the season in an I formation. We've done really good with Spencer under center. And so there's no reason not to bring Spencer under center, put Stogner on the line, bring Stogner's out here. Hey, Stogner's versatile too, But put Stogner on the line, Jaheim in the backfield with Marshawn behind them, Spencer under center here. No knock on Josh here, but we clearly keep identifying that Brooks and Wells are our two best guys. So in an I formation, it puts, I think, our five best athletes out there, anyway, and I've identified that before, which is Wells, Brooks, Stogner, Bell, and Lloyd, And I understand we've got Atkins. I understand we got these guys that come in for blocking and things like that. But I also keep hearing that Jaheim Bell's blocking is getting better. So if one of the things that was preventing Jaheim Bell from being on the field was his blocking, then when we were watching this play right here, you heard them talking about what we're challenging him to do and da da da. Well, we've also heard lately that Jaheim's let's see if I find some different plays just to use some different stuff to see. Jaheim is doing better at blocking. Oh, Jaheim's blocking is really coming up. So a lot of questions get asked. A lot of the coaching staff's really clever, and they deflect things in really clever ways that instead of saying, well, Jaheim's not blocking well, so we're not playing him, they'll say it like, why isn't Jaheim getting enough snaps and blah 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 is the question, and they'll say, well, Jaheim's really been working on his blocking, blah 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 blah, and not saying, hey, he's not getting enough snaps because he's not getting enough, we're not comfortable with him in our scheme and how he's throwing his blocks. And I know the next critique on that as well. Make the scheme work for Jaheim. Man, I don't agree with that. And I'm going to tell you why. I know a lot of people ended up, super high on Jaheim and Dak after um, the bowl win. And it was like maybe that was set up for an RPO there, where Jaheim was going to slide out. Actually, check that one out. That's a slick looking play. I'm wondering, as we're sitting here talking, looks like maybe they were trying to set up a potential RPO right there for Jaheim to have a little screenshot right there, little screen pass kind of deal. That was maybe slick play calling right there. Probably none of us would have caught if I wasn't watching this right now. But so there you go. But yeah, I'm trying to just find a different formation though that I can give a better explanation of some other stuff too. But if Jaheim's blocking is getting better as we're hearing these coaches say, then let's put him in more. Let's start putting this kid in more so he can show it more on the field and have him in more situations, because the real issue is right now I feel for Jaheim, okay? Um, and see, he should have been in that formation. They should have taken a they should have, and here too. I mean, I can't find a formation I like to talk about. It's not. Um, let's see this one. Okay, I'll just use this. I mean, they're here. You got tight ends. You got two tight ends on this end. Is this Jaheim right here? I believe this is. Yeah, this is Jaheim right here. You know. All right, so let's bring Spencer up under center. Put Jaheim about where Marshawn is, and um, put Marshawn in the back, and have a power set there, like a strong eye, but a power strong eye, I guess, because you got two tight ends in, a two tight end strong eye. You got so much you can do, and then if you had, let's say um, this is where I would say that Jaheim is instead of Marshawn on this play, and say that Spencer's here under center. I wish I could do the little things they have at the where they actually move the guy. Wouldn't that be cool? But in that kind of situation, if they wanted to run a pass play, you can get Jaheim leaking out of the backfield. It looks like a big set here. It looks like it's probably going to be a run play. But you can start the play. It could be a little play action or whatever, and then Jaheim's leaking out of the backfield and coming around back into the center. But I would like to see Jaheim in more versus you know what? Let me show a play where he's not in, where I would want him to be in, because I have some of those on a bunch set or whatever. All right, so Jaheim's not in here. There's no Jaheim. All right, we've got Nate Atkins in. And this is going to happen some, and that's fine. But I feel like this is happening too much. And then what they talk about is Jaheim not getting enough snaps, and then they also talk about when he's in, they pretty much zero in on him. Well, that's because he's not in when he's not getting the ball, right? He's almost any play he's coming in, it's like, okay, we're giving him the ball. If he lines up in the backfield, we're giving him the ball. He needs to line up in the backfield and block sometimes. He needs to line up in the backfield and run routes sometimes, so that when he's in the backfield, they don't go, oh, well, Jaheim's going to get the ball and he's going to run it, for one. For two, he needs to be in on these plays more, where it's not designed to him, but he's there. I mean, look at this. We say that Nate Atkins is here because he's blocking. He's not blocking on this play anyway. Okay, there's no block on this play. They're not there, and this was after a timeout. Okay, so this was designed before they came out of come back onto the field. All right, they had plenty of time to figure out what they wanted, what play they wanted to run. So there's no blocking on this. I thought they should have been running the ball here anyway, as I had said earlier. That's fine, okay? If you're not even running the ball, then Nate Atkins didn't need to be in there. I know well, that's that tendency breakers. Okay, well, tendency breakers. Well, we're breaking the tendencies that when Nate Atkins is in, sometimes he might actually go out for a route. So we're doing that. So we're preferencing Nate Atkins is what you're doing, Coach. I mean, you're trying to break the tendencies for when Nate Atkins is in the game. What about breaking the tendencies for when Jaheim is in the game? That's just as important. You're not going to utilize Jaheim if you don't start breaking the tendencies for what he's doing in the game. And that means he's going to have to be in here for this kind of play. Okay, lined up there, seen on the field more as a non ball in hand threat, so that when he's not having the ball in his hands, okay, more often when it's time to get the ball in his hands, he will be there. He will be open because they've gotten used to him just being on the field and not getting the ball. Okay, you can't be every time Jaheim's on the field he gets the ball. Now, obviously, when he's in his passing routes, that doesn't always happen anyway, But especially when you're lining him up in the backfield, break these tendencies. Line this kid up in the backfield. Have him block. Have him run routes from the backfield. I would really like to see some triple option stuff. Not a lot. We are not a triple option team, but any good team right now runs those occasionally just to make you think about it, right? And you got Spencer Rattler, he's not an option quarterback. I mean, he's not, but he can run a little bit. And you got Marshawn Lloyd. You got a really good backfield there. When you put Jaheim in there with it, that's a scary little, play design that people are really going to have to pay attention to. And then you get people used to seeing Jaheim doing different stuff out of the backfield. Plays for that kid are going to open up a lot. So that's this whole video. We're 30 minutes in now, 32 minutes. It's been my critique of Marcus Satterfield. And I guess my biggest critiques are some situational play callings and obviously the utilization of Jaheim Bell. Now, one could argue, as far as the utilization of Jaheim Bell, that maybe he wasn't doing what he needed to, and the blocking, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But the other problem is you have a fan base that's hankering to see this kid. And you are a coach responsible for a little bit to the fan base as well, okay? And I don't want to put that kind of pressure on Coach Satterfield because I'm always usually defending the guy and most everything else. Everybody's like, oh, you're always defending Satterfield, right? So, yes, I do, but I got to come back and give some balance to that equation. I understand what the fan base is expecting to see. They wanted to see the stars of the Mayo Bowl lead our team this year, and they're not seeing it. And Dak is a whole different story, Jaheim is something is feasible that he should be in more. Okay, if you're telling me the kid's blocking has come up, put him in more. And this is not a knock on Nate. I want to see less Nate Atkins, more Jaheim Bell. Okay, why do we need yet another person coming on the field that we don't even have a jersey to fit the guy to line him up at tight end? So now you're taking a whole other person. It's I guess an O lineman. Sticking him on the more on the line. I just stop. Get Jaheim in there. Get Jaheim in there. Run him from the fullback position, and I'll bring this back. I'm going to bring this back real quick. Run him from the fullback position. Let's put Nate Atkins. Let's say this is Jaheim, and let's bring a running back. We'll put. Oh man, they had already shifted. I think in this they had just shifted. But yeah, Marshawn had just shifted to here. He was in the back, but let's say Marshawn was there, and you bring Lloyd back here as well. Or I'm sorry, Bell back here as well. Take Nate out of there. Okay. Now that's a weapon, and that's a situation that makes sense for me that we got to get Jaheim into. Okay, it's very important Jaheim is in these situations more. And let's say Marshawn's right here, and Jaheim was right here, and this is what I was talking about. Forgot for just a second. As a fullback, he can still move out to here. Okay, let me find a shotgun where they're spread. Okay, let's say that Wells right here was Jaheim, and we brought Jaheim right here, and he's playing out of the fullback position, and then we decide we want to go to a more spread look, put one more guy out in the route. Okay, then you bring Jaheim from here and put him on the line. Let's say you had a look though like this, everybody's spread out. Okay, and then you bring Jaheim back to here, and it looks like, hey, there could be a run, somewhere or whatever, and then we say, hey, you know what? We'll bring Jaheim to the tight end spot on the edge right here and set up a run that way. There's just so many options with Jaheim in the game, coming out of the fullback slot. Everybody wants to go the H back. Look, I've been watching football a long time. Fullbacks get back here. They go up and chip block on the line, and they go out in the route sometimes. Not a lot of fullbacks, but really good ones do. Jaheim's an athlete. He can do all that. Why we got to classify it as an H-back? Why can't we just say the boy's a fullback and then he lines up on the line sometimes and whatnot? Yeah, whatever. Classify his position as what you want, but utilize it. That's it. That's it. He can move from fullback to the tight end to the wide receiver slot at any time, and we don't have him on the field doing that at all. Like at all. Just in motions. Just what you could do with Jaheim in motions. Move him from, like I said, fullback to the tight end to out. Could tip off a lot of what the defense is looking at and stuff because there's so many eyes on Jaheim. Okay, so that's it, man. I just get Jaheim in the game. Get Jaheim in the game. Get Jaheim in the game. It's that simple. You're gonna make a lot of people happy, and I know your job is to get wins, but I just don't see how Jaheim Bell costs you. I can't see Jaheim Bell costing you. So let's get that young man in the game more.